Yeah, right. How are we, everyone? Welcome to the stable. Weekly update video. I'm doing enough changes that I may as well throw the update out. We're still 45 days from lockout, so it's probably a bit heavy for weekly trade videos. But like I said, I've done enough to warrant it again. So I thought we'd get into it. How about that UFC yesterday as well? My lord. That was worth the money. Apparently it was free on Paramount, which it wasn't. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Absolute wind up. But oh man, worth the pay-per-view. Worth the pay-per-view. Alright, as you can see, I've made 8 changes. Why is that? Oh, don't mind me, just had to fix the camera, but we're sorted. We're sorted now. 8 changes. I've made 8 changes since the last video, and as you can see, I've gone big on the rucks. As you can see, both rucks are gone. And I've gone a bit drastic. If you've seen the other vid, you know where it's going, but it's made it this far. I'm red hot on it at the moment. Honestly, the first pracky might change everything, or even the Origin game. We'll get a good look at the rucks, even though it's not like real red hot comp, but we'll still get a good idea of it. But my first change was Defender 8, D8. I changed McInnes to Sarong. Good news that Sarong is just going to walk into that Sydney backline, and they kind of need a bit of a spark in the backline. And I had McInnes there. And I think he'll play too, but I'm just not sure of the points. And the same with Sarong. I'm not sure about the points, but he's 120 and McInnes was 150, so there's not much thought power there. It's just straight swap McInnes to Sarong for me there. Not much really to talk about. I think a lot of people have Sarong. What's his ownership? 48%. So no one's sleeping on Sarong. My first big one. Actually, we'll do the benches first. My forward, I did F8. I had Todd Marshall there. I've changed him to Robertson. Now, I was meant to have him, the Devon sort, the Brisbane Lion pickup for West Coast. He's a gun. I'm a Lions man, and he would play for most teams. He just can't get into that midfield at Lions. So I think, even if they weren't planning to play him straight away, which I think they were, in pre-season, they'd be like, we have to play him. I think you'll see him as one of the biggest cash cows in the game. I reckon he'll finish at 400, 380 grand. So I actually think you have to have Robertson, and he's 53%. Half the people have him. It should be more. Not Jagger Smith numbers, but if you know Devon Robertson, he's a jet. Just could not break into Brisbane side, which a lot of jets wouldn't. So Devon Robertson's my F8. It's put him at F1, but that'll sort itself out later. My M9 was Finley McRae. Again, pick up West Coast did from Collingwood, but if they can't start everyone they signed, and Robertson will start over McRae for me 100%. I'm not sure on McRae's starting. I'm not sure on McRae's games. So I traded him to Grilge. Now, this is probably the first one where... Yeah, that's a cracking name. Is it Grlj? Grlj. Let's go Samuel. First one where I actually haven't done much research into him, and he's a bit of a placeholder. He's 170, so he's not basement, but he's defender mid, and I needed a little bit of DDP. So he's kind of a placeholder until I look into him a bit more, but he's 42% owned as well. So I'm taking it that either 40% of people are doing exactly what I'm doing, put him as a placeholder with the DDP until I figure out what to do there, but he's 170. So people aren't going to do that for 170. So I need to look into him. If he's kicking off, we'll keep him. But yeah, 170 on the bench is a bit steep, but the way it's all worked out, it's worked out at the moment. So, Gulj is in. My first this wasn't really a big one. I had Jordan Sweet as my R2. We've gone Draper at R2, and I may as well do it right next to it. I went Sherry to DDK. Now, if you've seen my other video, I go deep into why I'm doing this right now. I won't like regurgitate the same 10 minutes that I talked about there, but it just, I'm worried about spending up to 700 at the start for a ruck when there's ruck rules like there has been. And I feel more comfortable starting with people that neither of them are going to drop that much. Let's just say that. Like 390 Draper will not, you're not going to lose money. And at 520 of Tom DeConing, he would have to be terrible to lose money. So right now, and like they both could make a lot of money. People are sleeping on Tom DeConing's risen from 5% owned to 7 in a week. People starting to, I think about Tom DeConing because he is athletic as they come as rucks. He'll get first ruck for me. He'll be sharing with Marshall, but he'll get first ruck. And he's 520. There's no risk at 520 for a ruck, I find. And he's my R1, and then Draper at R2. People might say this is drastic because every year it's go lock away your rucks, and I did it last year and it served me really well. Just right now, I am feeling comfortable with them two in my rucks, which I thought I wouldn't, even though I made the change. But yeah, I was uncomfortable having Sherry at 680 with ruck rule changes that I think actually hurt Sherry. Yeah. But a lot of people going down to Jackson. I think Jackson makes a lot of sense. He makes a lot of sense. He's just 611. He's 100k more than TDK. But it is a reason. Jackson is a gun, and he's athletic. But like I said, I won't go full into it. That video's there if you want to see it. But my rucks have gone from Sherry, Sweet to TDK, Sam Draper, which has freed up some money. And I think we're going to get into where I've kind of put it now. So my next one after that, as I went the Horny one, the Horny one didn't last long. He's gone. Horn Francis. I was too port heavy. And I've fixed it a little bit. I want Rosie and Butters for their start. You need to have a look at their start. Port Adelaide's first 5 rounds is absurd. But I had 5. So I had to trim that back a bit. And Horn Francis went... I want Horn Francis, honestly. I want him in the team. I think he's going to score a couple of 140s in that first 5 rounds. But, yeah, right now he's made it out. And I went Horn Francis to Callaghan. Now, this was really true. I wanted one of the GWS boys. So it was between Green and Callaghan. Where? Because I know they're almost the exact same price. Yeah, so Tom Green is $5.99 and Callaghan $6.05. Callaghan 111 average last year. Tom Green 110 average. Green's the pod, 2% owned. Callaghan's 13% owned. And I picked Callaghan, but I am seesawing a bit because I don't think you can go wrong either way, honestly. Callaghan has a high ceiling. Callaghan can hit 170 plus. But he also has a lower floor. Callaghan can drop of 60, 70. Where Green very rarely does that. Green will score you 90 to 130 almost every week. Every week. But I've had a bit of a theme, if you consider my team, where I've kind of picked the blokes that have the high ceilings. But that does come with the low floors as well. So we'll take that for what it is. But yeah, I don't think you go wrong either way. Tom Green and Finn Callaghan. Pick your poison with them. Right now, I've gone Callaghan. I like watching Callaghan play more. I feel like he's a fun own. People talk about fun owns in Supercoach. Callaghan's 100% a fun own when you're watching GWS. So I've gone Callaghan for Horn Francis. Now, in my flex, I had Latrell Pickett. I still think Latrell Pickett's a red hot smoky for rising star even. But small forwards, they just don't score. They don't score. And it's like, I feel like he could be a bloke that's going to get 5 touches a game or score 2-3 goals every now and then. And they're going to be like wow factor goals. That's why I think he's a smoky for Rising Star. But when it comes to Supercoach, the more I thought about it, I wasn't sure about him. And he was 150, wasn't basement. If he was not 100, 120, I'm probably keeping Pickett. But Sid Drapers came back in my team after I roasted. I didn't roast him, but after I basically said, I ain't feeling this one at all. Curtin's gone down. That's massive. So there's an extra spot there. There's 5 subs, no vest. Sid Draper's back in the team. There's again not much to say there. It's just 50% owned. Everyone thinks he's played. If their squad's fit, I don't think he plays. But we'll leave it there. Without the vest, he has to score, and he'll rise. He's 126k. He'll make money if he's playing. So there was a bit of me where I was like, it's silly not to have him if the injuries are happening like they are. So Sid Draper's in the flex at the moment. And my F1, I'm not happy that I've moved on Georgiades because, again, Port start. I feel like Georgiades as a key forward is going to score a couple of tons. But this is where I've used most of the money I made from going the rucks down to TDK and Draper. I have just brought in Sheasel. I've gone Georgiades to Sheasel. Because even though I'm not sure about Kangas, Clarkson, he moves them around like he cannot stop shuffling the pack. So I don't like owning Kangas right now, but Sheasel as a forward, he will be F1 or F2 by the end of the year. Like, he just will be F1 or F2. And it's not like he's 650. He's 580. So it probably does just pick itself. So, and he's a scary non-own. You want to talk about ceilings? He can score 180s as well. When you don't own Sheasel, you're hoping he doesn't score 180. So, and everyone has him, 70%. So if I didn't have him, every week I'm versing him. It's going to be long for me. So Sheasel's in. Save my team, and when it shuffles it, I have to actually. I swear last year you didn't have to do that. Sub them on for it to put them in order. So this is how it'll sit at the moment. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's all the J, yeah. Yeah, so decent changes. People might murk on the rucks, but like I said, if we watch the first practice match and Sherry's still dropping 150s, that it hasn't phased him in the slightest, or Grundy in that fact, we'll look at it. Unless TDK is, if he's first ruck in the practice match, I'm probably keeping him no matter what. If he is number 1 ruck, I'm keeping TDK. Draper for the Lions is a watch, but I think he might get first ruck as well. But we'll leave that there. But anyway, that's the changes for the second week I've been here, and yeah. See you next week. Peace.